Welcome back to another episode of Singapore's Real Estate Explained, brought to you by the JNA Investments team. And today we have another new launch review
called Lentor Central.
And it's a place where he's been taking a break for about a year. The last launch was mentioned in March last year.
And finally, I believe that Goku and seen that most of the units are almost stepped up. You can see later on. And that's when they know that it's time to launch. And in terms of the quantum, the PSF wise, there's something that they will be very sensitive about. So there's something you can stay tuned to.
Yep. So stay tuned as we explore, with so much supply coming up in Lentor. Is it something worth considering? Especially with this plot not being the 1 km to Senix. How is that going to be affecting the prices?
And most importantly, what exactly is the walkaway price for this particular unit? All right, so before we start, some formalities, okay? We want to thank all our clients supporting us, the 713 clients that allow us to evaluate their life. And on average, those who have already materialized their profits, okay, or have seen a paper gain, they are looking at about 19.56% average annualized returns per annum.
And if you are someone in the market who's also looking for your next investment home, or you just want to speak to someone to explore what are your options, you can also contact us at our WhatsApp QR code over here and we have someone reach out to you.
Yes. And also our Google review, currently I thank all our clients who support us, 150, and they've taken time to fill in this 5-star review. That's something we are very thankful for. And also our YouTube channel have currently hit close to 16k subscriber. That's something that we hope to continue to validate to you by producing more video content like such. Okay, so without much further ado, let's move on to the topic of today. Lentor Central. Is it a buy, wait, or avoid? Okay.
So another development also by Guoguan and Hong Leong. A little bit of backstory about Lentor is that most of the plots, except one plot called Hillock Green, they are all actually by the same developer. So basically, Hong Leong is the parent company of Guogu, and they took monopoly over the entire Lentor plots already.
Yeah. So what is good about this kind of strategy is that they will be able to price this accordingly.
And they won't sabo each other.
Yes, they are the same family. And one thing to note is Lentor plots, tend to be big development. 14,000 square meter of land. And the density tend to be lower, at 477 units. So they consist of 2 main blocks. One block 28 story and the other block of 27 story. So fun fact, this area, for this plot, is actually on the higher ground. So they are able to actually build a higher story as compared to those that's closer to the Lentor mentioned area. Yeah, so you can see this is one of the last 2 plots that's coming out in this area itself. And that's why it's something that people are looking forward to, because it could be the last few units you can actually get into when it comes to Lentor area purchase.
Yep. So looking at the landed price, you see that they got it slightly above about 5.9%. And maybe a lot of people know that they already took the monopoly and they don't really want to compete. So you also see that there wasn't much demand or wasn't many developer that actually bid for this land. Okay, and if you were to look at what other extra works developer has to do, I think similar to some of the developments over here is that they are required to provide an early childhood development, so like a childcare center. So you actually have quite a few childcare centers, not only at Lentor Modern. I think Mansion has one, so quite a few developments in Lentor area has one also, and of course to provide the covered linkways to the MRT. So this is another plot that is just opposite Lentor Modern, which is a mall, as well as where your Lentor MRT is.
And one thing is very interesting, they actually need to provide greenery replacement. You have 45% on site area, usually it's 40%, but they actually expand this, make sure that this area is not overly cluttered, and that's why it can be in form of sky terraces, roof terrace, and landscape gardening.
Yeah. Okay, for schools wise, of course, within 1 km, you have Anderson Primary School. The whole of Lentor area, there are a few plots that we're looking at. There's only 3 plots that are within the 1 km, which is Lentor Mansion, Lentoria, as well as Lentor Hills. I remember Lentor Hills, when they first launched, everybody had a hoo-ha on, should I get the one side of the
pier?
Yeah, the pier. Now, which one should I get, right? Because initially they say, one is going to be within 1 km and the other is not. But in the end, good for all buyers because they decided, the entire development is going to be within the 1 km.
Yes.
So we will touch on this later on to say, with 1 km and without 1 km, what is the premium you should pay? And does it really matter when it comes to exiting or not?
Yeah. And in terms of unit mix, you can see it's quite equally distributed with 55% bidder, 2 bidders and 1 bidder. And the other one is the 3 bidder and 4 bidders is about 2 units, about 44.4%. So it's very nicely even out. And one thing is for 2 bidders within Lentor area, most of them, Lentor Mansion is already fully snapped up for those at the first area harmonized project.
Usually first day, when Lentor Mansion fully cleared.
Fully cleared. And let's see how it will perform for Lentor Central. Okay, so you can see over here, we are back down to the last 2 plots. Okay, we have Lentor Central And a parcel B, which is open for tender, so likelihood it will launch about 2 years' time to 2.5 years' time. So this is something that could be very far in the future. Okay, and one thing to take note is why Lentor Central is so confident to launch right now at this moment in time is because if you look at the inventory, okay, which is over the years, people say, wow, Lentor, so many units, where will the demand be? But fun fact, there will be, there's 3 more years to go. For TOP, 2 to 3 years more to go. And currently for Lentor inventory, it's already 93.5% sold. Yeah, you can see like Lentor Modern 100%, Lentor Hill Residence 93.33%, Hillock Green 85.865%, Lentora 70%, Lentor Mansion 98.12%. So you can see that in this area, the actual demand can actually fit the supply.
Yeah.
And notice that one thing to note is because this entire area is to service the entire Marymount area, Mayflower area, and Lentor area. So this area itself doesn't have any inventory in the first place, which allows the supply to take out very quickly. And currently, there's only 161 unsold units in the market at Lentor area. And before we run through the entry price analysis, let's take a look at the site plan. Okay, so there are 2 main blocks, block 20 and 18, 27, 28 story tall. Okay, 2 swimming pool over here. Okay, and your tennis court. Most of the units here are primarily north-south facing, so you don't have to worry about west sun. Okay, and this is something we will cover more in depth when it comes to one-to-one consult with investment team, where we run through about unit selection, what exactly is the right stack and right unit to select.
Or like, how high should you go? What's the premium you should pay for per floor jump also?
Yes, so that's something we'll cover personally. And without much further, let's jump straight into the entry price analysis.
Yeah, and if you have to look at the break even, because it's a post-area harmonized plot, you plus 7%, it's going to be about 1,009. 10% profit margin is going to make it about 2,001, and then 15% about 2,200, which is the average of what Lentor Mansion actually launched at. Their average was about 2,002. Okay, so looking at the resale comparison, besides all the Lentor plots, we actually have a close resale that we can look at, which is called the Panorama. And their TOP, it writes 2019 over here, but I believe it was between the end of 2017 to 2018 period. So the gap between this and Lentor Central would likely be about 9 to 10 years. Okay, so if you look at Panorama, their average per square feet is about 1,973. So uniquely speaking, usually for 10 years age gap, there should be some form of gap, but this area is very unique in a way that the price gap, if you compare to the resale, is not the widest. Because like what we mentioned, right, in this whole area, there is a lack of supply. And when the government study the area, that's why they're confident of launching like the multiple plots. Because for them, when the government actually release plot, their goal is not to crash the market with your oversupply. It's only because they have the confidence in terms of the demand, and that's why they are willing to release all these plots also.
Yes, indeed. And with that, let's run through Panorama. Okay, how is it faring right now? At 1,009 per square feet, 698 units, big development. As compared to that of your Lentor Central, what exactly give the intrinsic value for Lentor Central to enter? Okay, so if you look at Panorama, you can see they make crazy profits. Okay, all right. Okay, for 8 years, you can see some of them make about 855K just for a 3-bedroom premium. Okay, then for the 1163 also about 874K. For the 4-bedder, you can see it hit $1 million mark. And right now, a 4-bedder in Lentor area or even like this entire Mayflower area, there's no supply. So no one really want to sell because it is something that is a rare asset to have in this district itself. Okay, so let's compare to layout comparative and see how does it compare to Lentor Central.
So looking at the 2-bed, 2-bath at Lentor Central, if you were to launch average at let's say 2002, your 678 square feet, which is a 2-bed, 2-bath, is going to go close to about 1.5. Comparing the Panorama of let's say 9 years age gap, right, you'll see that there are 2-bed, 2-bath is really transacting at 1.35. So the gap is not the widest. Lentor Modern 2022, which is I would say close to maybe 2.5 years back, is going transacted at 1.5. So the quantum is pretty similar of what you'll be getting at Lentor Modern. So then people may say, okay, Lentor Modern is an integrated development. True to say that, and that's why they are going to be transacting at a premium back then in 2022. But honestly speaking, when you come to the resale market, right, if you are like, this one you cross the road, if you're like within a 3 to 5 minutes walk, people say they are pretty similar.
Yes, indeed. And one more thing to note for Panorama, you look at layout type. Okay, one of the bedrooms are actually pretty small. You can put a
Single
single
room,
size.
yeah.
So, and it's open concept. So it's something that if you end on this period, you'll be, the 2-bed 2-bath is something that will move by itself because of this particular effect.
Okay, so looking at how the 2-bedder compare with Lentoria and Lentor Hills, Lentoria, a smaller development, has already hit 1.7 million. That's 2,400 square feet, which is pretty crazy. And this is pre-area harmonized. Lentor Hills 2023, which is about 1.5 years ago, transacted about 1.48.
So you can see this Lentor is really setting the benchmark of the area over there. And if you look at some of the Lentor modern units that have transacted, they also hit that kind of price close to 1.8 plus million.
Yeah, so I say if 2002, I think the quantum at Lentor Central seems like a pretty fair deal over here. Okay.
So next, let's take a look at comparison to Lentor Mansion and Hillock Green. So one thing to take note is Lentor Mansion is fully sold out on the fully sold out in 2024 last year. So it was 1.511 being the last one transacted for level 1. Okay. And for 600 square feet on average, about the 1.5 million range, I would say is decent. And you can see there are new units that transacted recently because of up hype in the market. Hillock Green, 1.711 million. People are willing to buy for a 2-bed 2-bath.
Yeah.
So once again, this set a benchmark for Lentor Central to consider.
Okay, so moving on to the 3-bed 2-bath after we've seen the 2-bed 2-bath. Lentor Central, 915 square feet, let's say 2002, it's going to be at 2.013. Panorama, it's already at 2 million. So you'll see a brand new versus 9 years age gap. There is almost no difference in terms of their quantum. Lentor Modern, 969 square feet. This one counts as a flexi room, but the one we're looking at Lentor Central doesn't. So Lentor Modern has hit about 2.24 back in 2024.
Yes.
Of course, moving forward, Lentoria, you'll see the most compact one, 915 square feet, is about 1.933 million.
Yes.
Lentor Hills at 2.139. So I'll say quantum-wise, again, Lentor Central, if they really do launch about 2002-ish, thereabout, their quantum seems pretty fair with whatever that has been launched.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so looking at Mansion, last year, fully sold on launch day also, 2.047, and Hillock Green, 904 square feet at 2.056 million. So looking at 4-bedder for Lentor Central, there are two different layouts. One is the very compact one at 1184, and then the other one is at 1399. So at 2002, you will see that the quantum for 1184 is about 2.6. I think it's a very attractive quantum, but one concern people may have is the size of the living dining for a 4-bedder, because it's almost like a 2 or 3-bedder living dining kind of space.
Yes.
But of course, the saving grace is that all 4 bedrooms are facing one side, so you don't get the unfavorite kid that is going to be facing the other side of the or facing the inside of the unit.
Yeah, and the starting price will be, say, a pretty attractive quantum. They're about 2.6 plus. But one thing to take note, it also factor compared to the other plots in Lentor area, not all of them are within 1 km from CHIJ. And when you look at Panorama, for the 4-bed 3-bath 1313 square feet, it has already crossed the 2.6 million mark.
Yep.
And for a 10-year project to sell similarly to that of a brand new launch, I would say this does put Lentor Central at a very competitive pricing.
And Panorama is not like a very, very high floor unit. It's considered like lower floor at 6.
Yes. And one more thing to know is Lentor Modern, the one that's right opposite integrated development, already been transacted last year at 3.2 million.
Even up to 3.3 for the higher floors one.
Yes, and that's something that if we're talking about low floor unit as well as this, it does once again give a lot of hedging when it comes to that of Lentor Central compared layout.
Yeah.
But as compared to the premium layout, maybe I would say very quite equivalent to a Lentor modern layout. Okay, and if you compare to Lentora is about 2.6 plus million, but it's a slightly smaller development. Okay, and for Lentor Hill by itself, also about 2.6 million, but it's a first floor. Okay, and it's transacted last in February 2024. So if this were to launch at this kind of pricing, about 2.6 plus million, it does have a competitive edge that allow it to be picked up in the market today.
Okay, so looking at comparison to Lentor Mansion, another plot that it's under area harmonization. In fact, it's the first plot in Lentor. They transacted for about 2.67 million for the last transacted. So you will see the quantum is pretty similar with this compared to the compact one. But of course, Mansion having the 1 km to school and Central not having the 1 km. Then of course, you have Hillock Green, the bigger floor plate. So Hillock Green, there are 2 layouts, right? We're looking at the bigger one. They're about 2.983. The smaller one, I think they start out from like 2.4-ish, 2.5 million. And of course, the higher floor ones were about 2.6 million. Okay, so let's look at how Lentor Central actually compare with Panorama in terms of quantum. There are two beta, you'll see about 1.491 and Panorama is about 1.43. For the 3 beta, it's about 2.01. Panorama has hit about 2.17. And 4 beta wise, Lentor Central is about 2.6 plus. I think it will be the smaller one. And Panorama is about 2.62. So the thing you'll see here is that the quantum for Lentor Central coming up is very close to the resale that is 9 years old at Panorama.
Yes, indeed. Okay. And with this, we come to the last part, which is about the surrounding land plots. Let's take a look at what is coming up. So in the area, this is one of the second last land plot. The last one will be Parcel B, which is a 2.1 plot ratio. Okay, lower in terms of plot ratio. And of course, the buildings, the story will be actually lower, similar to that of Lentor Mansion and Lentor Hill. Okay, there's in fact, if we talk about I would say the next 3 to 5 years to 6 years, there will be a few more at 1.4
the
over
short
here,
blocks.
short ones, one over here and one over here. So this could be the last few exit point when it comes to looking at exiting this area.
Yeah.
Okay. And with this, okay, let's run through one of the last topic, hot topic. Schools. Does it really matter?
Because now you're entering Lentor Central, which doesn't have the 1 km to let's say, Lentor Mansion, Lentor Hills as well as Lentoria.
Yes, so let's see how the units perform. Okay, so with this, we have two main case study. The first one is Park Clementi's versus Clavon. Okay, so if you look at Park Clementi's, okay, it's actually right next to Nanhua Primary, one of the most popular schools in Singapore. People really hope to get in there.
All schools are good schools.
Yes, all schools are good schools. There's a more popular school. Okay, so within 1 km from Nanhua Primary, okay, and meanwhile, Clavon is actually within 2 km, but outside 1 km of Nanhua Primary. So let's see how they perform. So interestingly, if you look at the performance, okay, you look at the launch, the difference in price, Clavon, when they launched, was about 1.554 million. Okay, Park Clementi's was about 1.486 million.
To be fair, we took the compact 3 betas for both developments.
Yes. And interesting, because we think that, hey, actually, if it's within 1K, it should be more expensive.
Yeah.
But we have Clavon being more expensive at 68K difference. Okay, and when it comes to the resale market, interestingly, Clavon is still able to perform pretty similar to Park Clementi's to fetch a difference of 51K. So the capital appreciation is similar when it comes to each of the unit type. And if you were to look at the layout, okay, one thing to take note is that, yes, okay, for Clavon, it actually performs similarly in terms of the compact layout. They make about the same amount, doesn't affect much. But one thing to take note is the layout for Clavon actually slightly better than Park Clementi's. Yeah, so Park Clementi's is within 1 km, but layout is one of the bedroom type.
One of the facing of the bedroom is not as good.
Inside, which is not conventional, okay, but still okay for a 3 beta. But what happened is that the Clavon is not within 1 km, but a better layout. So it sort of balance it out, okay, and allow it to still have the profit margin. So it does not matter as much as we have thought.
Yep.
Okay.
And if you look at the per square feet difference, you'll see that at launch, Park Clementi's was about 1,577, Clavon was at 1,600. So in fact, Clavon was actually higher, despite being outside the 1 km. And then when it came to resale in 2024, Clavon was transacting about 2,122 and Park Clementi's at 2,151. So I see the difference is not significant in the resale market. If you are someone that needs a school, right, you'll confirm buy within the 1 km.
Yes.
But more than often, a lot of the neighbours, they actually don't need that. Maybe their kids are already in primary school. Or they have grown-up kids, or they don't exactly need the 1 km. And then for them, they'll be looking at, okay, does my layout, which layout is better? Pricing wise, which one is better? So I'll say school is always like a bonus factor. Of course, if let's say both layout the same, both same price, one has school, then of course you pick to have school lah. But if let's say have school is at a much higher premium, then we want to like reconsider to say, actually if I really don't need the school, right, do I really need to pay this premium?
Yeah. So usually I would say will benchmark in the market will be 100K, the kind of premium that people are willing to pay for, or even slightly higher. But the key thing over here is just saying that if you really can get a good entry price, that's more important getting into
then focusing on the schools.
schools.
Yeah.
Right? And next example you can have is Daintree versus Verdale, which is very interesting. Daintree is within 1 km from Pei Hwa Primary, also a very popular school. Verdale is outside 1 km of Pei Hwa Primary, okay, for in fact half the blocks. Okay, means
last time Lentor Hills.
Yes, Lentor Hill. Half means block number 6, 8 and 10 are within 1 km. The rest are not. Okay, so it's something we'll share with you, very interesting, because within the same development, there's some price difference.
So if you look at the differences in terms of their per square feet, you'll see that Verdale was about 1,709 at launch and Daintree was about 1,696. So again, not much difference. And when it comes to 2024 in the resale market, a little bit. Verdale it's at 2,109 and Daintree it's at 2,057. So in fact, Daintree is actually slightly lower despite being within the 1 kilometers of the school.
Yes.
Okay. So if you look at Verdale, if you go and see what units are within the 1 km, what units are not, you draw the line, right? You will see that some blocks will have the 1 km, some blocks towards the back won't have the 1 km. So if you go to the next slide, when you look at the 3 beta, for example, let's say you take 1001 and 1012, block 8 and block 10 are within the 1 kilometers. Okay, so if you go back to the previous slide, you'll see block 8 and block 10 being 1 kilometers. Block 14 is at the top near De Souza Avenue, and that one is not within 1 kilometer. So if you go back and see 1012 square feet, third floor, they transacted about 2.065 in July 2024. Afterwards, the ones with the 1 km, 1001 square feet transacted at about 2.09 in September 2024. So you see, A actually slightly higher at about 25,000.
25,000. Or you want to look at a more extreme case for the first floor of block number 8.
Yeah.
Traded 2.2 million. 130.
Yeah,
130. So if you were to average out, I would say about 80 to 100K.
Yeah.
That is a premium that people seem to be willing to pay for a good school. So using that, you can of course factor this into the valuation of a matrix to determine, hey, if I will get something else that is within a certain price for a good school, is it worth paying for that?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And with this, we come to the end of this video. We hope that you enjoyed the analysis. As usual, we actually did a very deep research about Lentor regarding the demand and supply analysis. And this is something that we are rigorously researching. Is it like what people say? There's oversupply or so many units cannot sell in the future, or it's actually just a myth that can be dissected if you really look at the real numbers and facts. Okay, so you're keen to find out more, okay, you can scan the QR code right below and contact any of our real estate broker for the investment team. You can evaluate more about this info. Okay, so as usual, we'd like to end off with the BA approach.
Buy, wait, or avoid.
Yes. Okay, so same as such. If we have the per square feet going at 2,002 per square feet, okay.
Which is the average that we use in the video.
Yes. And you're looking at a 3 to 4 beta, would you consider buy, wait, or avoid? Okay, so let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Wait.
Buy.
Okay, so why buy?
Okay, I think for me, 2002, because it's after area harmonization, if you were to prorate it down, you're going to get about 2-1. In this area, I felt like the difference between the resale is pretty small, and not many areas you get to see something like that. Of course, with the supply, right, you just have to make sure that the unit selection is done correctly. If possible, go for the bigger bedroom types, because a lot of them will be buying in for own stake. So when it comes to exiting, the competition will be as strong also. Okay, so for yourself, why wait?
Okay, so wait for the ballot number. Okay.
True.
All right, because a lot of people may not even get a chance to get a good unit at 2002. But jokes aside, I think the waiting part comes in terms of the unit selection. Okay, how exactly are we able to pick the right units in the development and have a proper walkaway price? Yeah. So PSF can be one thing, but just going in and blindly buy every single unit type, every single layout or one beta in area 2002, you have to really do a proper analysis, and that's something we hope to guide through for our investment team. Okay, so we hope that this video have brought you value. So if you're keen to find out more, do let us know, and the QR code right below once again, and we hope to bring you more value in a one-to-one consult. With this, we come to end this video. My name is Christian.
This is Grace, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.